We'll be starting in 4.8 seconds. All right, if you guys want to start quieting down in the back, we'll see what these assignments are, eh? All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I am Captain Hillary Redmond from the 48th Flying Training Squadron, and this is Lieutenant Jones from the 50th Flying Training Squadron. And we will be your hosts for tonight's festivities. On behalf of Colonel Justin T. Grieve, commander of the 14th Flying Training Wing, as well as the entire Blaze team, we welcome all friends and family to the assignment night of Class 2401. Tonight, your beloved ones will finally get to see which aircraft they have worked so hard to achieve. We'd also like to welcome the commanders of the 37th, 41st, 48th, 50th Flying Training Squadrons, as well as the 14th Student Squadron, and especially all of the friends and family joining us here tonight. Last but not least, a big thank you to all of the instructor pilots that worked so hard to get these students on stage here tonight. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Class 2401! Class 2401, the floor is yours.
Our final thank yous to the 14th Flying Training Wing Enlisted Force. As a class, we recognize that we would not be able to walk this stage without the incredible efforts of our enlisted members. Class 2401, raise a toast to the backbone of the 14th Flying Training Wing.
All right, so now for the somber moment of this drop night. Tonight, Class 2401 would like to honor William H. Pitzenbarger. Staff Sergeant William H. Pitzenbarger was a United States Air Force pararescueman who flew on almost 300 rescue missions during the Vietnam War to aid downed soldiers and pilots. On April 11, 1966, he was killed aiding and defending a unit of soldiers pinned down by an enemy assault during the Vietnam War. Before his death, he helped save over 60 men in battle. Instead of leaving with the helicopter, Pitzenbarger elected to remain with the Army troops under enemy attack and waved off the helicopter. With heavy mortar and small arms fire, the helicopters could not return to rescue Pitzenbarger. He was posthumously awarded the Air Force Cross, which was later upgraded to the Medal of Honor to Staff Sergeant Pitzenbarger. Hear, hear. Now, Class 2401 would like to share a short video. All right, now for tonight's ROEs. 10% truth rule is in effect. And to the class, you will report in a military fashion. You'll take your roast like an adult. You'll take your assignment like an officer. And you will proceed with a crisp salute. Then you will celebrate with your class and loved ones. With that being said, there will be no whining, arguing, and absolutely no quibbling. Slide.
Lieutenant Taves. That's about how awkward it is to have a conversation with him in public. We had some technical difficulties due to a last-minute addition. Crazy things. We're piloting new programs, small group tryouts. I may have personally talked to the 19th Air Force Commander about implementing straight to Randolph out of T6s, so get excited for that. But we'll find out by the end of the race. So we had some technical difficulties, had some awesome pictures. Lieutenant Taves, he's an avid paintballer, as per his Facebook page says, really tactical stuff. I'm sure Major Luttrell could learn from him. Also, he has a pretty sweet motorcycle. I don't know if he's done the motorcycle safety course, but I think he should. But I mean, he has some pretty sweet pictures. Anyway, on to the good stuff. Call sign Nordo, because, well, when you're flying with him, you don't really know if he unplugged his mic, he isn't talking, or his radio's failed, or if he's just battling his inner demons in the monologue. You never know. Same thing happens in the flight room too. We'll get to that. Frequently found chilling in a corner of the flight room, listening to everyone with the occasional head nod. Maybe a grin if it's really funny, but usually no emotion. Stone cold killer over here. He majored in meteorology, but still insisted on planning to fly into any and every known thunderstorm, hurricane, or any severe weather that the Mississippi State area can have. He really is a part of the previous class. We had that too. Like I said, he's most likely to skip T1 to go direct to Randolph and come back in 4.1 more years, but we'll see about it. He tried to avoid going cross country in the T6 in the mission phase by hooking for RSU procedures. The day prior that we're supposed to leave and fly nights when the RSU is closed and towers controlled, so see how that's a dilemma. Legend has it he holds the record for the longest radio readback transmission for clearance to land back here at Columbus. He pretty much read back the entire ATIS, including wind, runway, surface condition, your number 3. It just kept going on and on, and then the mic finally unclicked. But in what single engine, turboprop aircraft will Lieutenant Taves be sporting next?
Apparently the microphone is off. Sorry. Lieutenant Quinlan, welcome to the stage. 4 months early? It's gotta be a new record. For those of you who don't know, the original picture that was supposed to be up there was a picture of a robot. Lieutenant Quinlan, oh, speak up. Is this better? Okay. Can you hear me in the back? Beautiful. I'm not usually known for being too quiet, sorry. Anyway, this rose isn't about me. Lieutenant Quinlan. We were always suspicious of Takashi over here. Maybe it was the constant need to recharge, the super stract attention. Would you like to demo real quick? Or even the incredible ability to calculate anything eventually. Hold for laughter. Oh, I think it really came from the various robotic noises he would often make while relaxing in the flight room 12 hours a day, even when he was off for release. Sometimes his systems would lag, however, resulting in 50-minute MOA profiles and the inability to process IP interventions. Overshoot. What was that, sir? Overshoot. Oh, overshoot. Got it. I even caught him connected to the Skynet database one time, but don't tell him. But the day we really learned that he was human was the day we learned that Quinlan had been flying with both visors on after adding his second one for night flights. This apparently had been going on for months. I guess he was able to use his heightened robot vision to see. Anyway, let's find out where this human will be error 404ing next. Welcome to the stage, Lieutenant Stumpful. Lieutenant Stumpful was a supremely dedicated student in T6s. So much so, he deliberately planned to continue having kids in the middle of the program. In fact, the original picture that was up there was a big cannon. He would often, being so dedicated, obsess about everything he needed to do in a given sortie. I mean, sure, he'd usually obsess so much he'd forget what he was doing next, but who needs to make radio calls anyway? Trevor was always around, working hard, to the point where he would show approximately 10 hours before a flight. That was 2 hours long. You know it's a 12-hour duty day, right? The dedication didn't stop there, where Stumpful opted into more T6 rides by forgetting his gear on his final check ride landing, prompting more rides. Anyway, let's see where this stressed out early riser will be sabotaging check rides next in Dallas. Lieutenant Paul. While most students take every additional ride in the syllabus with a smile on their face and a yes please, Lieutenant Paul was once caught saying in the flight room, "I don't want an 86. That's just another day that I'm going to have to spend in UPT." Well, it looks like you're getting your wish. When offered the chance to head off straight to an FTU and bypassing the T1, Lieutenant Paul jumped at the opportunity. Little did he know, the picture that was missing from this slideshow is good guy Paul over here took the opportunity to start mentoring the next generation of aviators early in his hometown. Little did he know the foreshadowing that was going to cause. So, in true Paul fashion, a Southern gentleman who believes in God, the Second Amendment, and thinking, but not talking. Sorry, thinking slow. Correction. Thinking fast and talking slow. The last of which isn't always a great thing when you're out in an airplane. Especially when you really need to get that clearance. And he's asking why you're on dogleg to an ILS. Can we get the weather? Anyways, let's see if flying over the South Texas farmland is going to scratch this country boy's farming itch while he's TDY in San Antonio, or if he's going to be daydreaming about John Deere on his first transatlantic crossing.
Major Kolokar, our active duty major. Thank you for your service. Major Kolokar, what is the gold symbol beneath your wings on your chest from? Oh, you did a stint with the Navy. I've heard they have quite a demanding training course. But the only demanding training course I've ever seen you partake in is gas station pizza. No, but in all seriousness, you're pretty cool for an old guy. We're like the same age. I heard you can break dance and you showed off your skills on a T6 cross country. Well, how about busting out a move right now? Just kidding. I feel like you're in denial about your age. Same. Just wanted to be like the youngins. But your attempt to be cool is as cringy as the tunes you sing in the flight room. Ooh. How does it feel knowing that you'll have only one flying assignment and then immediately fly a desk at a staff job? You're gonna be lucky if you can fit the 500-hour mark by the time you make Lieutenant Colonel. Sorry to tell you. So, Major Kolokar, what aircraft will you not even get enough hours to make aircraft commander in next? the maximum airspeed below 10,000 feet is 250 knots, right? That's pretty generic. But do you know what the speed limit in Columbus, Mississippi is? Well, clearly not after you flipped your car on a turn trying to avoid an oncoming vehicle. No, but honestly, Lieutenant Corley is like a golden retriever. He is always in a good mood. And he only really thinks about his next meal. Not too worried about flights. Not too worried. And just like Air Bud, he's pretty dang good at volleyball. It's a shame that they didn't make a sequel about Air Bud going to UPT because you fly just about as well as a golden retriever would fly the T1. They don't have fingers, they can't trim, it's bad. Hopefully you can hone your flying skills on the Columbus flight line, along with your athletic abilities in the craft gym right here over the next few years. It's also been a recurring theme in each aircraft that you've been in that you're never really ready to brief on time. Or you call your formation sim partner 5 minutes before brief to tell them, don't worry, I'm on my way. That definitely doesn't fly in the big Air Force, but hopefully your students for the next few years won't mind stepping a bit late. All right, in what aircraft will Lieutenant Corley make his entire crew wait for him in next? Lieutenant Crabo, a long way to drop night for you. It's been a long program, eh? I think you said roar more times while in T Wonderland than the average fake does during an entire tour at the 37th. It's like you're almost begging for it. Your classmates tell me that you're kind, helpful, a great teacher. Sounds like you're a perfect candidate to me. Well, except for the whole yakking non-stop in the jet thing. Hopefully you have overcome your air sickness episodes. How many times did you throw up your mask in T6s? Like 48 times? How many students hook in mission for getting airsick? Seems rare. Or can say that their only other hook in T6s was overspeeding the flaps with their future boss? They're creating a new T6 Barony chair currency just for you as an instructor to be accomplished daily. I also heard you awarded a Distinguished Flying Cross in the Texan world. You were able to successfully assume control of the aircraft from your IP, return to base and clear it a million day with a wingman holding your hand the entire time. That's skill. Then you flew straight into a runway you had landed on at least 148 times. Despite having a completely empty pattern, you still managed to get an IRT by calling 5 miles gear down, but the gear was not down. Even your hypoxic IP in the back caught that one. So, Lieutenant Crabo, what aircraft will you stave your students' lives in next?
Nicholas Barr. Just look at you. And look at them. Tall, thin, dark hair, nice mustache. You look exactly like every other teacher here at 56. I know you wanted to be a fighter pilot so bad, but I think you were born to fly the T-6. I've heard your classmates say you talk a big game out at the bars. You were once overheard telling a girl, yeah, I'm basically the Miles Teller of the Air Force. With that kind of talk, it's no wonder you became newly single right after you started 38. And what single engine, prop driven aircraft will Nick Barth be flying next?
All right, Lieutenant Boyd. You are a fairly quiet one, but we all know it's because you're hiding your secret. I heard you were so confident you'd get through T6s that you went ahead and wore your pilot wings in your wedding photos before actually graduating the program. Move, considering you were literally sitting on an 89 when you came back from your wedding leave. But wait, the boldness of your story doesn't end there. You were still bold in T1s. It was just a few days ago that Gainesville Tower reached out to you in the pattern to tell you that Columbus Air Force Base was trying to reach you. Turns out you had hopped on an airplane with charges of shoplifting from the commissary and had security forces actively searching for you all across base. All due to your credit card not registering payment at the commissary. Talk about a creative way of making your IP your getaway driver. All right, Lieutenant Wood, so in which aircraft are you going to get put on all types of cabin next?
I went through pilot training with two Singaporean dudes, and they were great. The best of the best. You know what I'm talking about? And I was excited. You were coming my flight, my first class. And I thought you'd be the best as well. And I was wrong. So wrong. What surprised me even more is that in Singapore, English is that your first language you learned? Yeah. Yet I can never understand you. Anything you say over the radio. You've had your ups and downs, but I'm glad you finally made it. And what aircraft will you be flying next?
You started off as a weather officer, and then you were a special tactics officer, and then you got out of the Air Force, and then you got back in the Air Force. Kind of. You got an amazing wife and the coolest kid. And then you also have Lieutenant Sheehan. Word on the street is you carried him through T6s. But is that really true? You did carry Lieutenant Sheehan into a thunderstorm, into a violation with a nice phone call to copy, and you carried the two of you into a beautiful unsat. I heard that in the T6 you spent the majority of your time intimidating and disagreeing with the FAPEs and pulling rank in the debriefs. Your T6 flight commander's career is still recovering from the one flight with you. How's that base in Arizona? Seems like a pretty sweet spot. If you could get me in, maybe I'd overlook the fact that you hooked your T1 crew fundamentals check ride over forgetting the decent checklist. I checked your grade book, and it was not just a decent checklist that was forgotten. Oh, and not to mention, you were your check pilot's first ever unsat. Like, ever. And he's been a check pilot here through the legacy syllabus, you know, back when it was hard. You know, I know you know what aircraft is going to come up on that screen behind you, but the 19th Air Force said they are really hurting for weather officers. You could just go back to your old job, maybe? Might be better for those old bones of yours. I wouldn't want you to end up getting another hip replacement. And what aircraft will Major Luttrell be pulling rank in next? Lieutenant Sheehan, welcome to the stage. Lieutenant Sheehan, I'm glad you figured out how to study after T6s. Took you long enough, but you got there. I look back at your grade sheets and I noticed a lot of GK downgrades back at Texas World, amongst other downgrades. The real question is, do you even know what TOLD stands for, or did you just hide behind the majors and the captains in your class? Actually, it doesn't matter. I saw your GK downgrade on your crew fundamentals check ride. Maybe instead of making Taylor Swift references and posting Google food reviews for Chick-fil-A during academics, you could have paid attention. Fuel system check? I've never heard of that. What? You couldn't brown nose your check IP like you do with everyone else? Speaking of general knowledge, do your parents know where you are right now? No, I'm not talking about Major Luttrell. He knows where you are. Actually, are you even old enough to be here? Did you get a permission slip signed? I just recently saw your JROTC picture, and if I didn't know you, I could have sworn you were an AFSOC Chief Master Sergeant with all those medals on your chest. But it turns out that photo was just taken last year at Gainesville High School. Lieutenant Sheehan's mom posted a picture of him on all social media platforms in next. right, Lieutenant Stover. Apparently you played football at the academy, but your classmates were convinced until you said you were a long snapper. Well, I think you're the long snapper of your class. Nobody really notices you until you mess up your one job. We thought your skills as an athlete would transfer into the jet, but instead it's transferred into an abundance of sweat, anxiety, and an astounding nicotine addiction. Your classmates don't know much about you, but they do know when you walk into the room, the vibe goes from 0 to maximum continuous anxiety in a split second. I know your dad flew AFSOC and you really wanted to follow in his footsteps. But let's be honest, I don't think you could hack it. The perfect amount of stress for you would be in the back of a T6 avoiding a midair by the hands of your student. In what aircraft will Lieutenant Stover go cross country just to hit the casino in next?
All right. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. One of the 2 favorite Tunisian students in the world-famous Striking Snakes. The gentle giant, Lieutenant Big Ben Asus. You know, Big Ben, you shouldn't be here. You were supposed to drop with your classmates at the last drop night of 2315. What happened, man? Oh yeah, I remember. Cap. Unsat. Failure. Below average performance. Frustration, counseling, and tears. But that's what happens, Big Ben. Anyways, we got you here and you're gonna be a better man for it. Continue to get better and better every day. Try not to be a big ball of anxiety in your home country, please. You know, it's been a big mystery as to what you will fly next. But I think your performance here in the 50th has earned you your #1 choice. Make us proud. And what aircraft will Big Ben be flying over the Mediterranean in next?
All right, Lieutenant Wonder. I wonder if we should swap places tonight. I've heard you can be quite quick-witted amongst your peers and have no issue dishing out roasts and jokes towards your classmates on the daily. The only issue is I've heard you can dish it out, but you can't handle the heat when it comes back to you. Speaking of heat, I hear you earned your IP the hot wax call sign by forcing them to recover you from a power-on configured stall. Anywho, T1 seemed to have treated you a little better except for that one thing. Did you ask yourself if you were established or not established? It's not always the tone of confusion. We're 2 miles from the runway. It doesn't matter though. All the same, you can just continue on. Seems like you don't really know the difference. I'll tell you what, you have no doubt you're established when you put a down payment on your first home here in Columbus. In what aircraft will Lieutenant Wonder make a joke at the worst possible time in next?
Lieutenant Chompler. His start to aviation was not great. He went to the academy. Any academy people? Yeah, exactly. Boom. Back in his academy days, he's one of only 2 people who was actually forced to bail out of a collider. All due to your piloting skills. As seen as his time here, those skills are still not developed. On another note, there's one hot topic that is close to his heart, and he knows where I'm going. Everyone on this base thinks you're an international student. I've heard from semi-Ps that they slow their English down so you can understand. He's from Mobile, Alabama. You've got a long way to go to prove you're actually an American. Because your comm on the radio says otherwise. In what aircraft will you be confusing people of your nationality in next? Lieutenant Jonathan. Takumi Ishida here is a true American. In his time here, he's embraced the American way of life fully. Barbecues, tailgates, and football. He loves it all. He's gotten to travel around the country with all his other classmates, and his favorite holiday is even the 4th of July. However, there's one thing you need to improve before we grant you citizenship. You need to learn how to drive. Raise your hand if you saw the motorcycle get totaled right outside the main gate. Yeah. This was this guy. You have been a menace on the road. Total disregard for the law. If you can figure out how to drive, we'll give you citizenship. But you gotta do that first. In what aircraft will Lieutenant Ishida be pretending to be an American in next?
Lieutenant Warfel, welcome to the stage. Lieutenant Warfel, now, I was told when I went to Pitt for T1s a couple of things. That I wouldn't have to wear a G-suit, and I could have my coffee readily available for me on the flight deck. No problem. But when I fly with you, that's not the case. Somehow you managed to regularly pull 4.8 Gs during landings. Flying with you, my coffee is just not safe. I don't bring it. I just wish there were a few less G's during the landings and a few more G's on those grade sheets. I heard during your crew fundamentals check ride, it was so bad that your check pilot had to hook Major Luttrell. Was that bad? You've actually made a name for yourself with your high-G maneuvers. Whether it's your 5G pattern turns, with Colonel Heyman in the rear seat having F-16 flashbacks, or forcing your T1 IPs to keep their chiropractors on speed dial when you decide to have a pattern-only sortie. You always manage to push the limits of every aircraft you fly in, and also the limits of every instructor. Speaking of limits, do you even know them? It seems like every sentence out of your mouth ends with a question mark. Crew going around? None of us really knew the answer to that question that day. In what aircraft will Lieutenant Warfel send another aircraft commander to physical therapy in next?
Lieutenant Sherman, also known as the General. He had a great time in the 50th. He really did. He impressed all of his instructors. He flew well, and he had a great attitude the whole time. And no one had a bad thing to say about it. Except for me. You flew like half your flight today. Whenever you're short on time, you gotta go. You've been briefing forever, and it's like, we've got 3 minutes to step. We need to go right now. Right as you're about to go up to the ops steward, get ready to go, he goes, "I'm sorry, sir. I have to go right now." It's a fair critic. Once or twice is fine. But on like a weekly basis, it becomes a trend. It got worse. On a cross country with Lieutenant Sherman, it was going well. We were up super high. He was in his airline voice. Everything was going good. And all of a sudden, his chill demeanor turned into panic when he goes, "Sir, I have a code brown and I can't hold it." And on the way to Charleston, that was the day Lieutenant Sherman shit his pants. And what aircraft will you be having accidents in next?
Captain Yoder. Last but not least, for the T1s. Tad Lasso once said, "Do you know what the happiest animal on earth is? A goldfish. You know why? It's got a 10-second memory. Be a goldfish." Captain Yoder, you are that goldfish. You are the only student I know that could start and end a sentence and have no idea what just came out of your mouth. I heard you just pinned on Captain not too long ago, which doesn't make a lot of sense given your early onset dementia and receding hairline. It's well known that you're well liked amongst your classmates and peers. They especially all love flying with you. I wonder why that is. Maybe because your significant lack of SA and command presence in the jet makes them all look a lot better. I will say, we were quite surprised you did so well on your check ride in T1s. Especially since you hooked your T6 trans check before you ever even exited chocks. So, in what aircraft will Captain Yoder almost run over a crew chief on his check ride in next? He's from SoCal, which makes him, it makes him very weird.
My first impression of him, first day in the flight room. Brother Bear, what's up? Weirdest thing ever. So from there, my opinion was kind of like, this guy's got issues. And then it became further worse when I heard of the situation he had out on his lake house. If you don't know, he was the party central. Had a nice house on the lake, super good. Everyone went over there. You're pulled over by a cop on the lake. And he looked at your fire extinguisher and he's like, this is out of date. And you're like, please don't give us a ticket, come on. He's like, okay, I'll do you a solid, don't give us a... Cool, and you didn't get a ticket. What did you do 10 minutes later? And this is not a lie, 10 minutes later, he set his jet ski on fire. Cool, so SoCal, jet ski on fire. You've already got two things downhill. Third thing, I've been told. You watch your girlfriend's cat? Yeah. So since the beginning of pilot training, he has watched his girlfriend's cat. And after everything, that explains so much. Cat people are weird, am I right? Yeah! So what aircraft will you be being negligent, weird, and next? Man, that alien, you're almost Hollywood. Almost. I bet you're feeling good. Almost the last to go, it's all or nothing. Nick's got so much personality. The only place I know to start is with what you wear to the swimming pool. I know this is weird. His go-to look is a Speedo and fish box. His classmates told me he likes to wear a Speedo, and one time I flew with him, I was like, dude, like, we briefed up, let's have a man-to-man conversation. You know Speedos are weird. And I asked him, why do you wear a Speedo? As straight-faced as he could say, he goes, I'm what women want. During this past summer, while he was with us at the 50th, he actually went to NIF, injuring himself by dancing on the table in a Speedo with a bunch of other men. He can also be seen in the flight room at random times stroking that mustache he has. I just wish as much hair as you had on your lip was on the back of your head. Balding at 23, damn. Yeah, man, you're definitely what women want. And what aircraft will you be flying next?